What's up, guys? Welcome to another installation of liquidity. Today we're going to be talking about internal liquidity in the form of liquidity voids and liquidity gaps. So last time we spoke about stop hunts. Stop hunts basically represent external liquidity because they are outside of the trading range. As such, they're external. But internal liquidity is in the terms of voids and gaps, and we'll demonstrate shortly. But basically, what a void is pretty much a sharp movement in price, where you'll find candles, or rather even a single candle, shooting up and then breaking previous highs or lows without any other candles following thereafter. Like you can take, for instance, to say maybe your price doing this, you know, and then suddenly price goes and then does this, maybe like a single or even maybe two candles, then price just goes, does that. When it does this, this is what we call a liquidity void. This entire area here would be a void. It's basically an imbalance in price. It's an imbalance in price, and we never want to see that, because if there's an imbalance, then it means that one side of the market is dominating. But when there's balance in the market, you'll see when price creates new highs, it goes back and collects the previous lows. The previous highs. It creates new highs, collects the previous highs. New highs, collect the previous high, right? Like that. But when price now suddenly does that, right? So maybe it does this and then does that. That is an imbalance. This is not good. As soon as price does that, that is a liquidity void. Right? That's a liquidity void. And then liquidity gaps. What are liquidity gaps? Well, basically, before I can introduce liquidity gaps, let me introduce this term, which is a residual, right? Residual. So pretty much what residual means is what remains after a significant part has been taken. In terms of the market, what a residual liquidity would be is whatever is basically remaining after the previous liquidity has been taken. So if price then so let's say maybe if price then now starts going back up, right, and then maybe turns right there and then goes back down, what this means is a portion of the liquidity that was here has been collected. So as such, this will then move to that, right? So residual liquidity will then be this liquidity here, but now it will no longer be it will no longer be a liquidity void, rather it will not be a liquidity gap, right? It's just a small space between the market that remains after a liquidity void has been collected partially, if I may put it so. Now to sort of try and demonstrate with previous data how this could have gone. Right, just a sec. I erased my artwork anyway, that's fine. So let's say we are right here in the market right now. This just happened, it's maybe the previous days, and the market just closed, and then you are waiting for a new candle to form, right? So this would be our liquidity void right here, and basically take that all the way to the high, right? And then this would pretty much be our liquidity void right here. Liquidity void. Move this guy here. Yeah, it's big. reduce that. Say that. Okay, it's fine, right? So this would be our liquidity void. What we would want to see if to kind of like demonstrate liquid markets, you want to see something like this. You see, price shoots up, comes back down. The next candle opens. You see, if the candle had opened and closed above, you want to see this next candle come back and collect the previous high, right? Which is something that tends to happen every now and then, just not so often because the market trading is not a perfect one. But let's look at this. This candle shoots up, right? And then this one shoots down. As it shoots down, it takes out these lows here. As it does that, it creates a void here. And then the next candle, what does it do? It comes back. It fills that void. It fills it and then collects everything that's there. And look at what the market does. It just taps there, starts moving down, right? And the same thing happens when the market, sorry, when the market starts to move up. We have this high here, right? We have this high here, which this candle shoots up, closes above, and then the next candle comes back and then collects all the liquidity that's there. The liquidity that was left, it comes back, collects it up to that high, and then starts to move back up. And this is something that we would want to see also happening when the market is now going up, right? The market forms this high here, right? This candle comes in, closes above. We want to see this candle here coming back and collecting this liquidity here up to that high and start moving up, which is the same thing that you want to keep on seeing, right? But in this case, that is not what you see. The market just shot up, it did not come back down, right? All right, sorry about that. All right, so what you want to see now is all right, so since price shot up like that, is you want to see price coming back down up to that high there, and then should it wish to go back up, can do so. If it wants to still go back down, then it's still fine, right? But this is not good, right? So now to see how this plays out, right? Since we have our liquidity void here, is we're gonna wait for the void to be filled, right? Then I'm gonna click on my start there. Right. Now we see what just happened. We had our liquidity from this point to that point, right? All right, let me do this. All right, between here and here, it was our liquidity void. But because now the market is collected partially some of that liquidity, we now have what you call a liquidity gap. And liquidity gaps like I said, they come from residual liquidity. When some of the liquidity has been collected, but yeah, it has to be a large chunk of it. So you want to see like very small space for liquidity. So liquidity gap. So maybe it might be like something around this, something small, nothing big. So this is still fairly big, but nonetheless, you get the point. After a certain portion or a large part of whatever liquidity void you'd be having has been taken or collected, whatever that remains will then be your liquidity gap. Right. So now we wait as we were. Alright, so okay, let me pause just to fix this. Okay, right. This is where we were. Okay, cool. Then let's continue. Right. Anyway, now, right, we are here. Right. Now let me remove this. Let me remove that also. Now this is where we are now. Now this is no longer a liquidity void. This is now a liquidity gap. And remember, this is happening after our residual liquidity, after a portion of our liquidity void was collected right here. Right. And then just gonna wait for the market to come back and collect our liquidity all the way to that level. And as you see, what the market did here, came in, tapped on the high, and then started moving back up, right? Then it continues moving back down. And as it does that, if you notice, creates another void up there. It creates another void up there. And this happens almost all the time. Alright, it creates another void up there. And then we let it run. We would then expect it to also come back and fill like it just did now. Right? And fill this market. To come back and fill it. But as you can see, what did it do? It left a gap in between. It's tiny, but it's there. It's very, very tiny. Might go unnoticeable, but it's there. Why? Because the market needs to go and touch that previous low. Highs collect lows, lows collect highs. That is what you want to see. Just like that. And then it went in, left a small gap, and then now it's starting to move back down. So that's basically it. You have liquidity voids, which occur from a rapid movement in the market. And then you have liquidity gaps, which are a result of residual liquidity, that is whatever remains after a huge chunk of the liquidity void has been taken. Whatever that remains, as in this case, is a liquidity gap. And basically you want to see all those voids and gaps being filled. You want to see your liquidity being collected. You wait for your liquidity to be collected before you can start making your trading decisions.